Hello everybody, and we are here and we are doing some really cool stuff. I'm going to show you in Unity. So this is not what not going to show that one. I'm going to show this one. And we are doing these really cool doors. And that's what we are doing right now in Houdini. And it's important to get the transform and stuff in the right position. And I want it in a special way because the script's going to read it for us. So that's good. And we are here. And I just realized that I made this one wrong. It should be 90, like this. So if you look at this one, this is a 90 degrees part of a circle. And we are reading this segment's part here. So if we do 5, then this one is 72 degrees. We have it... So we're reading it here with this one, doing this part, 360 divided, so we get the correct angle. And then we have them down here, but they are a little bit mismatched. And the reason is because when I showed you with the gizmos on this circle, we need the center, the pivot, to be on the corners. And if you think about it, the edge, if this is a piece, so let's look at this one. We won't rotate it from the center, we will rotate it from here because this part will if this will always be the pivot and be still, and this part here will rotate up like this. So we need to make this one a little bit offset. And if you note this on this one, you see the circles, they always start with 0 and then we have 1 here. So if we take this one, I do more divisions. You see, it's always 0 and 1 up here. And so what we can do to make sure that this one is in the correct position. So you see, it offset here. We want this part to move inward here. So then we I'm going to do it like this because we're going to make some modeling and stuff later on. And here's going to be a little bit more nodes. But here we set pivot. And we're just going to go in and we do other position is equal to point. And we're going to read the position like this. So we have the point and we're reading the second input. That's this one here. We read the position and the first point, and then we just do at P as we run through all the points and we negate with the other position like this. So we just spell it right and it should work. And here we have it. So now you see they should be in the right position. And they're not. Why is this so? Hey. And the reason is because here, you see, I negate, but it's supposed to be, so actually it should be at position minus, like this, right? And it's the shortcut I made went wrong. It's supposed to be like this. That's the same code. These two lines is the same. So we just need one of them. And I'm going to remove that one. So now if we look here, we have it. And if we just go in here, save it, and go back to Unity, and go to our file. And we move it up a little bit, just like that. Now we have them all here rotating as we want. So this is perfect. And we want all them to rotate at the same time. So this is the setup. Cool, huh? So now let's make sure we make some cool, better cool looking doors. So this is the logic. And now we can use these pieces to make some really fancy stuff going on. So what I want to do, I want to make this one here. So we're going to do some kind of edges on it, and yeah, that's the piece we're going to make now. And that's going to happen on this side here, and then when we're done with it, we offset it in the right position. So I'm going to make a poly extrude, and this defines how thick the segment's going to be. So I'm going to do 0.4 here, and so now we have this is going to be including the edges and stuff. And so we just extruded it upwards a little bit. We're going to center it eventually, but so what I want to do here is to make sure that we remove the front. So now we only have the sides kind of. So if we make another poly extrude here, and now we are we're not going outwards because we can't do bigger shapes. So we're going to go inwards. I'm just going to do it a tiny bit. And then I'm going to make sure we do the output back too. And then we just do a reverse. So now we have the normals in the direction we want it. And so poly bevel on that one to have a little bit nicer corners and edges. So I'm going to do just a tiny bit like this, and 2 divisions. And then there's a little bit extra divisions going on, and you can kind of remove it by using exclusion. So I'm going to ignore like this, so that looks good. Yeah. So this is going to be our edges. And then on the other side, we're going to make sure that we, so we have this part here. And then we do, well, actually first, before we start with that one, we're going to have a match size like this. Because if you notice, here is the 0. I want this part to move down so we have it kind of centered. So now it is centered, but I only want to center it on the eye. So none on X and Z. Now we have it centered like that. So if we use, we can just copy this one here. And we merge these two like this. So this one actually, I messed it up a little bit. It's going to be like this. Because this one is setting the pivot. So we just need to reference this one here. So we can have, to make it even more. Now it's some strange thing going on. So if we do, and I'm going to make a null node here to make sure it's obvious we have these parts for themselves. So now you see we have this one a little bit. I'm going to make it a little bit simpler. I'm just going to take this one here and actually, I'm just copying it like I was doing, and then output back and front, and then we have it like this. And then I'm just going to peek and do this one just a tiny bit inwards like this. So now we have it looked like this, and we need a match size too. So now I have it like this. So what I'm also going to do here, I'm going to make sure that we have a color, because I want the edges to be brown, so it's a little bit easier to kind of see and understand inside Houdini. And this one going to be the yellow part, so we know that kind of where we are. So this is good. So if we check this one out now you see we're starting to get the door, and if we save it and go into Unity, now you see we have them here. So now we can just start rotating like this. Perfect. So we're going to just add a little bit more stuff here. And what I also want to do is to add some materials. So if we use a Wrangler, and this needs to be on the primitive, that's where you set the material. So in Houdini, you do like this, shop material path, that's what you do. And then you do, well, in this case, I'm going to have it like material, and I'm gonna have a parameter. So I just here I do add steel. So this is gonna be the steel stuff going on. So set material, and then we're just gonna have it on this part here. So this is gonna be the surface. So that's nice. And the last thing, I just want to make sure that we are UV unwrap this stuff. So if you look here, now we have it unwrapped, and that's super nice. But if we just think about it a little bit, so the door hatch is, the radius is 1 unit. So this one is not scaled in the real world scale, and that can be problematic if you want to use the material on a lot of stuff. So here scale uniform, but I'm going to change it to none. So now if you think about it, the material is UV mapped in real world scale. So the radius is 1 unit and it matches perfectly in the first slot. So now if we save this part here and go back here, and then we just make sure that we do the steel on the steel, then we do the what we want on the surface, and now you see we have this part going on. Awesome. So this is good. And in the next tutorial, I'm gonna just make the wall that we're gonna have around this stuff, and then we're gonna dive into the script. So thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next tutorial.